Well, that's obviously disappointing against Brackley, but they're clearly a good side.
Yeah, they are. We were disappointed, of course we were, with the result. Probably our most below par performance. Watched the game back, even though we were okay and we had some chances which could have changed the game, but at the crucial moments went their way really, and they had the moments, and they had good game nows, I'd say.
Yeah, it was interesting in your post-match interview, that came out straight away really, because against Firewood and against Gateshead the performance was there but not quite up to it this time round.
Yeah, it's disappointing because you want it every week. I know, the level, we're all at the level for a reason, consistency, but the most consistent teams will get promoted this year. So yeah, it was disappointing the way we started the game, and again going behind so early is something we need to really look at and eradicate from the game.
It's three good sides you've played there, obviously Gateshead, Firewood and now Brackley, but disappointed to have got nothing out of those games. Really.
Yeah, it was, especially after the start we made, but listen, it's gone now, we've got to move on. And we've got to pick up and build a bit of momentum ourselves. Fortunately, we've had cup games in between the league games, so it's kind of been spread over a 5-6 week period as opposed to just 3 straight league defeats in a week. So we'll go to the FA Cup game on Saturday full of confidence still, knowing that we're one game away from a fantastic draw.
Bedfont Sports then, they're up next. I must admit I know very little about them. You presumably know more than that.
Yeah, we do. We had them watched last week in the FA Trophy against Romford, so we know a little bit about them. I know a few people down there as well, but again, as I'll always say, it's about us. If we're on it, we're okay. If we're not on it, it's game on. So we need to focus on ourselves more a little bit and get back to what we're good at.
The draws haven't really been kind to you so far, but you've battled through to this point. As you say, the carrot is there now, isn't it, if you can get through this one?
Carrot's there for both teams, yeah. The draw, yeah, listen, it's the FA Cup, you've got to be prepared for it. To say we played on 4G pitches 3 times is quite unusual, but we'll prepare right. Got to thank Redditch United for letting us use their pitch, just to have some good prep. So we'll be going down there full of confidence and fully prepared.
With the modern day 4G pitches, is it very different still?
It is if it rains like it did at Ware. It was like playing on glass, and it was so skiddy and a completely different environment. But again, same for both teams. I don't think either team managed it very well that day. But you've just got to be prepared. Yes, it is different to grass, but our players and myself, we've played on it plenty enough times now, so we are used to it. Yeah.
And it is handy having that sort of arrangement with Redditch United, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it is. It's a great relationship. We've got to thank Dave Faulkner. He lets us use it when we need to, and we've used it 3 times already in the last 4 weeks. So, I want to take the excuses out of our team, and if we prepare right, then that's a big help.
I was going to say it's always important you start the game well. You started very well down at Ware, of course, and they got pegged back right at the death. So it start well and maintain that momentum.
Yeah, it is. It's starting well, and like you say, keeping the foot on the gas. It's very easy just to take the edge off it sometimes, and then bad habits creep in. And I think that's what happened at Ware in the first leg. Because if we're on it, like you saw in the second leg in the replay, we're a good team, and we're quick and we're dynamic, and that's what we've got to do against these teams in the FA Cup.
It says a bit about the character within your squad, because you've been there to be shot at in every cup tie so far.
Yeah, and we're there again. So listen, we've got to go there, and we've got to respect the opposition. It's one game away for both teams for a potential fantastic draw. But let's take one game at a time. We've got to go there and do the business, and we've got to be prepared, work hard, and go back to the basics and the values that we believe in.
When we spoke last week, you were still awaiting sort of a kind of prognosis on Joe Foulkes, as Walsall were obviously looking at him. Have you got any news there?
Yeah, it's long term, so it's not good news for us and for Walsall. So unfortunately for us, we're not going to see Joe until the new year at least. It seems to be the way it is at the moment, especially with the Lewis Montrose news, which is longer than anticipated. We've got to get on with it. Other teams will say, "Oh, it's excuses." It's not. Every team's got injuries, and we've just got to move on.
Just reminds what Joe Foulkes has done, and Lewis Montrose.
Potentially before it was a fracture. He had a scan, no fracture found, but ligaments snapped, torn on both sides. So it's not nice. He's got weak ankles as it is anyway. So he's in good hands now, and we've got to. Unfortunately, this sounds really bad, but we've got to forget about Joe. I'll speak to Joe and his family, as I always do. But as a club, we've got to move on.
It's a great shame because he seemed to be settling in very well.
He was great, and he epitomised everything we are as a football club. Tenacious, hard, young, eager, and basically no fear. And he epitomises what we were and getting 2 goals as well. He's our second leading goal scorer. So it's unfortunate for us, unfortunate for him, but he's in good hands. And like I said, the door opens for someone else.
Lewis Montrose, what's the issue there?
Trained on Friday to be in contention for this Saturday coming back, and he broke down, which is a real shame. So we've got to get to the bottom of that situation now, because he's a big miss for the football club.
And what is the injury? What's he done?
Hamstring. Yeah.
I hardly dare ask this, but aside from that, how are you looking?
Yeah, we're looking fine. We're looking to bring a body in, to be honest, and I don't need to hide the fact that we are probably a little short. We've got a good competitive squad when everyone's fit, but you take 2 or 3 out and it all of a sudden becomes light, like any club. So hopefully we can dip into the market this week and bulk the bodies up.
So you're hoping to get someone in before the weekend?
Yeah, or potentially the weekend after. Yeah, with the FA Cup it's a little bit more tricky. So hopefully within the next 7 days.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the cup tie thing, obviously some clubs are reluctant to let people out.
Well, they are, because squads this season up and down the country aren't as big as they were last year, for obvious reasons. Money's a little bit tighter for the COVID, so big squads aren't 24 anymore, they're 20, so they're keeping bodies around. And like us, we've got a 19-man squad. Take 2 or 3 out, it becomes threadbare. So 1 or 2 would be nice, but we'll see.
Are there still agents that are knocking on your door occasionally, ringing you up and saying, I've still got players available? Because as you say, the squads are smaller this time.
Yeah, they are, but they've got to be better than what we've got. Otherwise, there's no point. So we've got a good youth system here. If they're not as good as them, then we'll bring the kids through. So I want players who can make the squad better. If I can make players that make the 11 better, even better. So like I said, you've got to do your due diligence, like I always do. Dip into the recruitment market, which I believe we're quite strong at here, and we've got some good relationships with some big clubs, and we've got to use them.
Thank you very much.
You mentioned Joe as well, just in terms of it perhaps being a longer term thing, because he was so popular and he equally enjoyed it here as much. Would you hope that could be a long term relationship, as in when he is back fit in 6-12 months time, whatever that is, that hopefully we might see him again?
Well, of course you want good players returning, but he's not our player. He's a Walsall player, and they've done us a favour in lending him out to us, and we've done him a favour by getting the minutes. So at the end of the day, it's all down to Walsall. The kid wants to play as high as he can, but the big thing for the kid now is to get back fit. You're looking at the new year at least before he starts on the grass, and that's the big thing for him now.